Hey there, YouTube land. Big Dave here. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Well, it just started over here on the East Coast, you know. So, I already finished one coffee. Well, not quite. There's some left. Look, so today I just want to take a very short time and talk to you about your neck and cleaning the neck and checking your pip that goes in the top here. You know, some people call it a vent or has different names. So first of all, it's really important to keep your neck clean. So when you get done playing, what I recommend that you do is have some kind of a special swab that you dedicate to just cleaning out your neck. And all you need to do is obviously pull this through the neck, and it'll get to the end, and then just take it and pull it through and get the moisture out. You can use other kind of swabs too, but it can't be a heavy swab because it won't go through the thin end. I kind of like this one. This is one of those that used to have the brush inside it to make it wider, and I took the brush off. So it's just a silk swab. And I have another one. Another thing that'll fit in here is the basic Van Doren clarinet swab, although it's just a hair tighter. So either one of those, all right? And you can always go through once or twice just to get the moisture out. You don't want to leave that moisture in the neck for a couple of reasons. One is the sanitary reason. The other one is that it starts to accumulate inside and make little green and white spots in the brass, corrosion a little bit, that kind of stuff. Okay, so the next thing is just checking your neck, making sure that the end is round, and making sure that this is round, and that there's not corrosion growing inside here, like white spots and things like that. If it is, you should use some type of a brush, like a trumpet type brush, to use some soapy water and clean this out. You know, you can go in and out as you need to clean it. But don't forget, once you get inside just a little bit, this isn't doing all that much because, you have to move it around. It's not wide enough. So on the other end, you need a different brush, something that's going to go in this side and up into the round part of the neck. So this is an older. I have another one that's clean. I was using this for something else, so it looks kind of black, but it's actually clean. I just put it through the dishwasher. So the thing is that you want to try to find something that'll you can bend to follow around the curve inside as you try to clean some of that out. Now another thing is, it's good also when you do your thorough cleaning every so often to remove the key from the top and check the pad. Now you can see this pad is worn through, and it's down to the inside, so it'll have to be replaced. And I'll have it replaced because in the meantime it's leaking. Another thing every once in a while you want to check is the condition of the pip on the top, and if it needs to be dressed a little bit. Now you can have your repair person do that. If the thing with repairing these or addressing them is you have to trust the person that you're going to. I do my own actually, and as a matter of fact, the reason I'm showing you this because I just did it. I just very lightly went over the top. It actually had a peak on the one side. This is a horn I've been working with for a few months now, since July. And this is the first time I actually took the neck apart and everything and gone over it carefully. But this wasn't level. So the thing is, if this is not level, it's no good. And you don't take much off. I mean, what happened was the front side was peaked up. It went like this. And I just took that down using a mill file, very precision, a file here, a needle file. You know, and I got this to go, you know, I really was very careful, and I only took just a little tiny bit off, uh, leveling it off the way it should be. Then once you dress this, the hole that's in here, you want to check the hole, and you can use a round file. And all you do, you're not filing anything. You just put the round file in the hole, and let it go in, and then just very lightly move it around back and forth, and it'll grab a little bit. Just move it back and forth a few times. Make sure that the hole is rounded and it's clear. You're not filing anything. You know, you're just kind of putting it in and out a little bit. And then what I do is I get a toothpick, a wooden toothpick. I put it in the hole, and I turn it around a couple times. And I polish up that inside with the wooden toothpick. And I get out any junk that might be in there. And I make sure that this pip is nice and clear and it's free from junk. You know, so you do have to service this every once in a while. Now, if it's no good, after a while, this might have to be changed. You might have to go to a repair shop and have this changed. So, like even this, I can see when they drilled this out in the factory that it's not even quite round. It's a little bit off, you know. So that's just the way they are. But the big thing is, if it's not exactly, if it has a peak on it or something, the pad does not close properly. Even after a while, the pad takes the shape, and if the pad is soft, it's still not efficient. You know, like you want this to close right away. You don't want this to be looking for a way to close. So you need to just investigate, have your repair shop check it out, make sure that it's absolutely level. Because this thing opens and closes more than probably any key on your saxophone. You know, it's constantly being opened and closed. And the next thing is to take the rod, which is the rod that comes out, you know, and before you put it back in, put a little oil on it. So I'm just using some 3-in-1 oil. Put a couple drops of 3-in-1 oil on it in a napkin, you know, let it soak in for a minute. And I'm going to just place it down while I put the key back in position. And then check the spring underneath. The spring has a small screw. Have your screwdriver ready, your little, and always, look, use the screwdriver that fits the screw. Don't try to improvise. If you don't have the right one, go get a different one or just wait on the project. So like this, I'll just check this, and it is snug. I'm not going to make it any tighter. And also make sure that it's out enough. You could push it out just a little bit. Now, I'm going to put this through the top. And here, I have this, I'm going to line up where this goes. Make sure the spring is lined up, right? And I'm going to hold it in position like this. And then I'm going to take the rod. And I'm going to put the rod in here. And just gently feed it in. And once I have the rod in place, I'm just gently feeding it in. I get my screwdriver and I lightly turn it to make sure that the threading starts properly, right? Now I have it in here, and if you look carefully, you'll see that it starts to overlap with the brass. So if your screwdriver is too big, you're going to start to dig up the brass. That's why I'm saying make sure you have the right size screwdriver that only tightens the screw inside and it doesn't start to chew up the brass. And then, of course, check to see the action on this and that it's closing properly. And now that this is, I took that peak off, I know it's going to close a little better. And then when you put it back on your saxophone, make sure that you have a little airspace between this and the pin that opens it up. If it's touching, it holds it open. That's no good, and that's why sometimes your notes don't play right, because it could be even just a little bit. So even if it's a hair open, it's no good. So check this and make sure that this rod is working properly and that you have a very tiny airspace. You don't want a lot of space, just a little bit of airspace. And if not, you might have to just slightly adjust where the position of this is. Again, you have to do this all lightly. You know, and if you don't trust how you do it, go to the repairman. Now, next thing is, here's the paper towel I use the oil on, right? I'm going to take this and wipe it around on the tenon here, this oil. And what it does is, you'll even see it takes off some of this black and green stuff, and it also shines this right up, so that when it goes in, I might even do the inside a little bit. It makes it, has a coating on it, right? And when you go to put it in, it's good. I could even put some of this in the saxophone, you know, when I do it. Now, every once in a while, I will use some oil, and I'll just check this joint, and I'll check the saxophone and clean it up using some oil. You can also use a little bit of motor oil or reel oil, you know, like fishing reel oil. That works good. Teflon oil. There's a lot of oils. They all work okay, you know. Just watch for ones that get gummy. All right. So the other thing I want to tell you is, you know, for a couple of reasons, I closed off the Facebook blog. So if you want to log on to Facebook on my page, just go to Big Dave Wilson Saxophonist. I had to close the blog. It was too confusing. There was messages coming on both things, and back and forth, and then it wasn't what I had expected. All right, so it's all just on one now. The blog is shut, and it's all just on Big Dave Wilson Saxophonist, and you're more than welcome to go on there and sign on, and it gives you another access. Okay, have a great day, and you know, practice.